know that a lot of our lives are formed in the first 10 years of life? Like, actually, your personality and everything that you know about yourself has a lot to do with how you were nurtured. So you see this saying that nature and nurture has a lot to do with our lives is actually true. So a lot has been going on recently in my life, and I was like, I'm going to take a pause and like go deep down memory lane and figure out what my nature and nurture was like. So, and I realized that a lot of identity that I possess were all formed within the first 10 years of my life. In today's video, I'm just here to draw your attention to some things that you're struggling with that might have just been as a result of your upbringing and how you can fix them. My name is Precious. I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I love to teach and educate people on everything ranging from health, parenting, just figuring out life generally. As a young girl, I have African parents, and there's this thing about African parents, like they are very strict. They have a certain way that they bring us up. If you have an African parent, then you know what I'm talking about. But then everything that has a positive have a negative. So sometimes in the process of like being very strict with us and trying to like put us straight, like there is not this balance to allowing us to develop our personality and grow into who we really are. So what happens is we shrink ourselves and take the form of whatever is the preferred identity our parents wants us to take at that point, and we just do what they want us to do, study what they want us to study, have interest in what they want us to have interest in, and we just grow from there and just become that person that they wanted us to become most of the times. The good part of this is sometimes because you have directed learning, because you are directed your strictly placed in a path, you do well in that path. For example, some of us, our parents wanted us to be medical doctors, they wanted us to do this and do that, and like we just go right in and get it done because we know that we just have to get it done, right? We don't really have a choice. But then there is a bad side to it. The bad side to it is we don't get to explore as children. We don't even know what we really want. We don't get to really understand what our interests are. Like, it's just like our own inborn, inbuilt identity is just subdued, submerged, silenced, and we just run with whatever the extended family or our parent at that time feels deemed fit for us. This video is really for those of us from the African community, or we have very maybe African Caribbean culture, because what happens is then we grow up and we begin to get to our midlife around 30s, and we begin to have an identity crisis, and then we begin to question our career, question our decisions, question our choices. We begin to have issues saying no, have self-esteem issues, self-identity issues. We just begin to find ourselves bubbling up and down, and it all boils down to upbringing. Now I'm going to give some examples of what I mean. For example, is kind of a normal thing for an African parent to say to their child, shut up, keep quiet, I don't want to hear you talking anymore. If I hear you say any more one word, things like that. So when as a child you continuously hear this, what this does to your brain is shuts you down. Even when you have something to say, before you even try to say it, you just shut yourself up, because what's the point? They're going to tell you to shut up anyways, so you just shut up. Now, how does this play up in an adult life? You find yourself in a company, you're doing well, you have good skills, you have good, very intelligent, but then you can't speak up. Things are going on, meetings are going on, they're asking questions, even in class, the answers, but you just keep to yourself because subconsciously you've built a pattern of shutting up in your head. And it sounds as if, it's just your parents were just trying to train you, right? Yes, they were just trying to get you to be obedient in that moment, but then is a lifetime of effects, ripple effects that comes with it. Now, that is just one example. You just grow to become an unexpressive adult that cannot advocate for themselves. And what happens is when you have an idea or you have something to say, you shut yourself down because you're used to being shut up. That is one of the examples. Another thing is this emotional instability that we have. We don't even realize that is a phase. this one is like a huge topic. I cannot even decompress, I cannot even unbundle it in one day. Like, I cannot talk about it in one video. Now, for example, we are forced to just like the first point, shutting down our emotions. We can't really say, we don't even get the choice or the chance to express our own side of the story or what we feel. Like, our parents are always right. You just have to do what they say and get on with it. They don't get to hear our own side of the story, so we just lose our voice. Like, even though we are being shut up on the outside, it plays a role on our emotional part. Now, what that does is we start having issues on crisis management, on communications. So we start resorting to other means of expressing ourselves, like throwing tantrums, like shutting out people, like deflecting, like self-pity, blaming others, and feeling that you're not good enough, or you just find something else. Some of us just become introverts, not because we are introverts, but we just lock into a shell. And what happens is, when you then grow up and begin to form valuable relationships, probably get married, have a partner, and have kids, what happens is you automatically begin to unload this trauma on your loved ones without even knowing it. So, because your parents were the closest loved ones you have, your family is the closest loved ones you have growing up, and their language to you was what you understand as a love language, it will begin to affect the way you like treat people that you love. You begin to think that is the ideal way to talk to people that you love. So some of us, we start having issues we talk with our voices raised. We are almost yelling, but we don't even know that we are yelling, because we are used to our parents yelling at us, and we just, in our subconscious, it's been built as normal, so we just yell because we were yelled at. And then some of us, we just like have outbursts, and this outburst, people that are around will be like, ooh, this does not warrant this level of reaction. But you're not responding to what happened at the moment. You're responding to a series of events that you've locked in your inside subconscious for so long. See, I cannot unbundle this in one video, but I just believe that this will at least create awareness. Probably I'll just try and make this into a series. I don't have any structure, but I'll just flow and just share it, and we just try and identify this trauma so that we can process it and not pass it on along in our lives. Now, another example is, you don't have a choice, like making it very difficult for you to choose. One of the most frustrating things for my husband to do is to ask me what I want. Guy, I do not know what I want. Like, as a grown ass woman that I am, my hairdresser till today, to pick a style to make is a problem. I have issues with making a choice. I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I choose what I really want. So I try to like deflect and go lower and lower. Like, if I really want something, I can't afford it, and if it's like the price is higher, I try to calm down and calm down and calm down, because I feel like it's inappropriate. So it's good, right? Like, these things two-sided. It's good for that, the fact that our parents trained us in a way that we are content with what we have. Like, we put ourselves, we don't look out in anyone's thing or try to get what is not ours. But it then grows and grows. Like, it's so extreme to the point that even when you are working and you can afford things, the basic things of life, like self-care, skin care, hair care, even getting deodorants, begin to look as if they are luxury. But these are basic life necessities that you just need to have. But then you begin to compromise quality, you begin to interpret quality or spending money on yourself as being wasteful. So this can be very detrimental, because what can happen is, you can start neglecting yourself. You can start looking uncared for. You can start, losing more of yourself the more, because, to be honest, self-care is one of the ways that you interpret your self-worth. If you cannot bring out the money that you worked hard for to take care of yourself, like buying, I'm not talking of gadgets or expensive tech or anything. I'm just talking about basic things that you need for yourself, like soap, cream, basic things that you need. We grew up some of us grew up in places where our parents could afford these things, but they didn't just think it was necessary, or they just thought it was a waste of money. These are our parents. They could count monies, like give other people to do things, but to like get little things in the house would just be a problem. Like there are most food that they can actually afford, but they just leave it only to occasions, all in the name of like being street, cutting their coats according to their size and everything like that. And we just take this and we grew up with it, and we find ourselves, we begin to do the same to our kids. Our kids needs book in school. We are working, we have money to afford the books. We begin to ask questions like, why do you need book? What do you need a pen for? What do you need the book for? Why you have 5 books? Is 2 books not enough for you? You don't even know that you're passing on that trauma. And the kid is like, what? I need 5 books. I know my mommy can afford 5 books. It's just books. They are for my academics. I'm not asking for, something big. And you don't even know that you're beginning to pass that down. Trauma unidentified is trauma easily passed down. Taking a little journey down memory lane helped me recently to overcome a very serious incident that happened in my life, and that's I then began to process more as I went down and down to uncover things that I did not even know they were trauma to me. And I did not even know that they formed a lot of my trigger points. I didn't know that some of these upbringing patterns formed a lot of my trigger points. Sometimes my husband would say, oh my God, what? Like he would just make a random statement that had nothing to do with me, and I would overblow it, misinterpret it. What happens is we struggle. It makes our relationships difficult. It makes us have a very difficult life generally, because we almost become dysfunctional in the society. Not dysfunctional that we are like disruptive or causing issues, no, dysfunctional in the way that it's difficult to communicate with you. Like everything triggers you, everything's a trigger point, everything's a problem. You see everybody has a problem, you feel everyone is attacking you, feel nobody wants anything good for you, feel you're not good enough, you feel a lot of just strange feelings running through your minds. It's either lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, you don't feel you're good enough, you feel everyone is against you, you dress, you put on different clothes and you're still not enough, you're looking good, but that confidence is not just there. It's not about what you're putting on, it's not about what's happening to you now, it's about series of languages that you've had over and over and over that have built a momentum in your head. Now, what are the things that we can do to like go into our trauma identification journey, and how can we gain from it? Now, the first thing you can do for yourself is to take your own journey down your own memory lane and begin to ask yourself, how was growing up like for you? It's not always going to be a pleasant journey, but you're going to have to do it to heal from it. You're going to have to identify, oh, this actually was a trauma, this actually was a trauma, this actually was, and actually this has formed a trigger point for me in this place, in this place, in this place. When you identify them, you can then begin to look at them and see how to improve, how to work on yourself. The main goal is not that you want to prove any points to anybody, because to be honest, our parents did what they did to the level of knowledge that they had, right? Now we have a more wider level of knowledge. We have more exposed generation. Now it's our responsibility to do the best we can at the level of knowledge we have. And we owe it to our kids to make sure that we cut the ties of that particular trauma and not keep passing it on and on and on. So the first thing you do, you understand what your trauma is, then ask yourself, what trigger points have this trauma built in my life? And then you begin to address them. You can address them by coming to the consciousness of, now you're an adult, you actually responsible for your own life, you can make your own decisions by yourself, you don't need to be angry, you don't need to stay angry for things that was done to you years and years ago. You can actually cook what you want to your house, you can actually buy cream, you can actually eat food, you can actually like do little things that make you happy. You have the right to be happy. Now when you identify these things, then you can start practicing things like words of affirmation to yourself. You can write notes to yourself every morning, you can speak to yourself, you can confide in your partner or a friend and tell them to hold you accountable, that in 3 months, in 6 months you want to work on this part, and they should tell you when this trigger point starts showing forth and help you work through it. Most of us cannot afford therapy. Those of you that can afford therapy, you can't decide to go for therapy. See, it's a huge part of our life. It affects everything. It affects our career, our journey, our parenting, our relationships. Most relationships that are breaking our time are not even as a result of what's happening in their own relationship. It's a result of the backlogs in the heads that they are carrying from their extended, like their own parents' relationship, and how they've seen things done as normal. See, this whole trauma journey is a whole lot. Right now, I'm even thinking like, maybe I should even venture into trauma care as like a pathway, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see about that. But this is something that, because of how much it really affected me recently, I feel like I have an interest in putting the awareness out there that this kind of thing is going on. We can actually go through a journey and deal with it, so that we can break that tie and not keep passing trauma from one generation to another. I really hope this video had like made sense to you. If yes, please like, subscribe, follow, and share this video to anybody that you know that this video will make sense to. I will try my best to like keep sharing my learnings, keep sharing. Like the truth is, like, life is a ripple effect of what formation, and if our first 10 years like really plays a huge role in our lives. Now, what I want to take away from this video is, if you are an auntie, an uncle, if you're not a parent, you're a carer in one word, or that you have a niece, you have a nephew, you have children around you, if you don't take care of your trauma, you're going to start passing down these things to them, and then they are going to keep passing it, and then they're going to keep passing it. You know, the way now that when you reflect on this journey, just tell yourself that your priority is to make a difference, to cut it. Like, let you be the last person that experienced that trauma. So identifying your trauma is the easiest way to not pass it on, because trauma unidentified is trauma easily passed on. I'll see you on the next video. Stay sane, stay blessed, and stay happy. Bye bye.